Alright, so here's the CB300R. Like I was testing out the I have a one tooth plus one tooth up in the front, so basically it's geared taller. The rear is still stock size, because as far as what I could find anyways, no one makes anything for this bike yet for the rear. And the bolt pattern here is different from the other models, the previous models. So it's completely different. So this is only, that's the only thing that's available, that size. But the front, it's this engine. This engine has been around for, what is it, like almost a decade now, or close to a decade now. So I added a 15 tooth before I went to Mexico, because I know it's going to go a lot of freeway, highway. So I wanted to be, I didn't want to rev real high the whole time. So I'm actually gonna change this thing back down to stock, because that up one tooth is just too tall for back roads. People are like, oh, why don't instead of just running in that whatever gear I'm running at that's taller, why don't I just downshift one gear and run it like that? But it doesn't feel right. It's not just about what gear you're at. It's also about the power band and the gear ratio. They kind of work together. For example, this is a 6-speed and it's a sporty gearing. So basically, it's a close ratio, right? Close ratio 6-speed. When you increase, basically the drive gears here, the chain. When you increase that drive, basically what you're doing is you're increasing the final drive ratio. So when you do that close ratio 6 becomes wider. It's like a wider ratio 6 now. So from one gear to the next, it's like it jumps more. So it doesn't quite feel right. Sometimes I feel like the whatever gear I'm in is a little bit too tall, and if I downshift one, it's a little bit too short. So it's like I feel like I'm in between gears. So with the stock gearing, it doesn't do that. It makes it closer. The two gears next to each other, makes them closer. So they're closer ratio. So you don't have that feeling. Usually sportier bikes and are usually close ratio 6 speeds, right? And when you look at wider ratio gears, you're usually looking at cruisers, big cruisers, and that works for cruisers because of the big engine size, the big displacement, usually twin, some type of V-twin usually, and so they have a lot of torque. So that torque curve is very flat and very low down on the RPM, so that you can get away with a wide ratio gearbox. But on a bike like this with a tiny little engine with like no torque at all, the power band is different. It's the rev band. You have to rev a lot higher, and it doesn't work well with a wide ratio gearbox. You have to use a close ratio gearbox. So the final drive on the open road, on a road trip and stuff, it's fine. It works great. But on back roads, it's just too tall. It feels too tall, and it's not responsive either, because it's not as responsive, because this bike it doesn't have the power. So no lack of response basically, and it just doesn't quite feel right. So anyway, so that one tooth up front, looking at my speedometer, and also using a phone app for GPS. At 25 miles an hour, the GPS is showing 1 mile an hour faster than the here. So basically, indicated 25, GPS is 26. Then when I get to 50, indicated 50, the GPS is 2 miles an hour faster, so it's 52. Then indicated 75, GPS shows 78. So basically, for every 25 miles an hour indicated, it's a extra mile per hour on GPS. And some you are wondering, oh, that doesn't work. You should use a real GPS instead of a phone app. It's the same thing. You have to understand how GPS works. It basically works by triangulation. So the satellites are up in the sky, up in orbit. You need at least 3 of them to triangulate your position. And cell phones are the same way. When you use a cell phone app, they use the cell phone towers, and so you have multiple cell phone towers. So you need at least 3 of them, and the cell phone towers will triangulate where you're at. That's how they figure out, that's basically how it works. To figure out your position. So cell phone tower triangulation works just as well, if not better, I would say, than the satellite triangulation. So anyways, so that's those are the numbers that I'm getting. So I'm gonna change my tires, and actually I'm gonna go back to stock gearing, and I'm gonna do another after that I'm gonna do another GPS run and see what the numbers show, because I didn't do one before I changed the gearing. So I'll let you know. All right, thanks for watching.